Okay, we might be 152. Looks like my hair is just straight across. Suddenly, I have uneven bangs. It's uneven because they're not bangs. Okay, we're sticking with that. Because then I'm like, oh, I was messing with that, so now it actually does look good. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Yeah. Only 2 more weeks, and then I'll be 100% vaccinated. So I'm getting my shot. I'll get it after this video, so it's gonna be like tomorrow or whatever, just after this video. But yeah, with maybe after the next one, depending when I record that. Not the point. Point is, I've seen a lot of misinformation about people being like, oh, you can still give COVID to people even if you're vaccinated. And then it's like, no, it is proven now. Like at the beginning, we didn't know. I figured out to do it. Anyways. I completely forgot what I was saying. That's when you know you need a haircut. Yeah, I completely forgot what I was saying. But what I was saying is I gave myself my testosterone shot for the first time by myself. And he must really see something. Anyways, so he wasn't barking. He just started doing this. It's early, so it's fine, but so anyways, so the point was I was giving myself the testosterone shot. And I followed the instructions he gave me. And I did it, and I was shaking, and then I was like, okay, got it. And I'm like, how will it feel to give myself a shot? Because, like, I'm doing it. And I was like, oh my god, but it was fine. But it was very, didn't know how I'd feel because, like, I don't know, it's a needle. you're inflicting it onto yourself. Like, I've had plenty of needles, but it's so odd because there's like, I don't know. So anyways, so the point is, and then I was like trying to put it's supposed to be in your muscle, and I'm like, well, I'm trying to get it in a muscle, but they're like, push the fat away, and I'm just trying it. I'm just like, but I couldn't, there wasn't any. Like when I have you're using that leg, and there isn't much fat right there, so I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Because I put it on the same area that she gave me last time on the other leg, and I'm just like, there isn't that much fat there. But then I was like, oh my god, what if I accidentally put in the fat? And then I was like, oh my god, and I did it. But then I saw that on the printout it says, ask if this is necessary or not, and it says make sure you don't get in your vein, like in a vein. So you want to make sure there's no blood in the syringe. She didn't tell me to do that, so I'm like, what do I do? Should I have done that? What if I accidentally put it in the vein? So I looked up, and there are people that said they did that, and people that said that had a reaction to it. But I'm like, oh my god, should I check? They didn't tell me to check. Oh my god. So now I had a panic and wanted to throw up because I'm like, oh my god, what if I'm supposed to do this and I didn't know? But yes, anyways, I was panicking about that for a good amount of time. And I was going to listen to music to calm down, but then my sister came down. And I'm like, okay, so then we'll just hang out. So we decided to just hang out. But, I got super duper, like, scared of what if I did that? Oh my god. And, it's like, testosterone's really thick, so I'm like, oh my god, should I? Because she's like, it's gonna be really slow, but maybe it's really slow compared to, you know, so I'm just going, you know, and then finally, but I'm just like, I don't know. And so I got really worried. I got really scared, and I don't know. And I'm like, what if I went too fast? And then I'm like, well, nothing happened, so I should be fine. But I don't know. I got so worried. I don't know. So, but yes, I know online people are like, oh, this is the reaction you have if you put testosterone in a vein, blah, blah, blah. And, I'm like, okay. But no, I couldn't. I just didn't see. I don't know. Just like people were saying experiences, but then the doctor didn't tell me. But other people said their doctor told them to check. And then I didn't know where to put my needle because on the printout it said don't put a cap back on the needle. And I'm like, I'm gonna stab myself trying to throw it away. And then I was like, okay. But then it's like, put your needle in the sharps container. And I'm like, a sharps container is where you put sharp things in like doctor's office, and that's like orange and has a little hazard symbol. I don't own one of those, you know? So I'm like, So I'm holding it. I put the cap back on because I'm like, I'm not going to reuse it. I know I'm not going to reuse it. I'm not, you know. So I'm just like, okay, well, what am I going to do? So I decided, hey, I'm going to take an old Clorox wipe container because we have those. Pandemic, you know. Have it laying around. So I got the Clorox wipe container. And I rinsed it out, dried it out. And I just put the needle in there. Yes, the cap is on. No, that's not supposed to happen. Apparently, you're not supposed to ever recap a needle. But I'm like, listen, I just stabbies, you know? So I put it in the container. I took the Clorox thing out. I put a piece of paper that says sharps on it. I put it with my stuff. But I'm just like, now I just like gonna slowly collect a bunch of needles, syringes. Valkyrie is just streaming right now, and I like her because we're on YouTube and we're like, oh look, she's streaming, click, you know, real convenient. But apparently people have been having a lot of hate for her, which is so odd that people apparently, like, she apparently posts like schedules and who she's playing with, and apparently one person didn't show up. People are angry at her because they're like, you said you would show up. And like, well, it's not my fault. Your streamer that you watch doesn't upload a schedule. Like, and they bailed out. That's not on me. And I'm just like, oh my god. And she was like, yeah, and they don't like my position because she's my old co-host. Because now she's co-owner of a company. She said because she's a woman, because they think she's annoying, and because she's and like she's a woman, so they're misogynists. They don't like her being in power of the company, which is really odd because the guy once explicitly told me that people, like, women in power scare him, and I'm like, oh, that's why. But then also, she's like, oh, well, I'm annoying in general, and I think that was her playing off as a joke. Because she's like, I have an annoying laugh, and I'm loud, and I scream too much, blah, blah. I'm like, that's fine. But, like, I want to say this is, somebody mentioned Saikuno. Saikuno is such a soft guy. That's really odd that people that watch him are so against Valkyrie for anything besides not liking her loudness. Like, her energy is very intense. Like, it is very intense. And I've said this before, this is definitely not negative, but like, it's intense. And not every moment of every day people want to watch someone that's really intense or something that's really intense. So what happened is that apparently people that were so negative against her are negative again. This is why I record in the middle of the night 99% of the time. Why are we talking? Why are we screaming across the house? Okay. Yeah, everyone keeps talking about asparagus pea. Coffee pea, for me, is way more intense. does no more barking. This is gonna be a pain. Usually I try to make barking quieter and people talking quieter. Usually people talking aren't that loud, but I guess now for sure how to do that. And my face is all oily, and I think it's a testosterone. That hurts my face lotion. My nose ring. I just want to watch Valkyrie. I'm only doing this because I want to stream later. I'm only doing this now because I want to stream later. And I want good humor bars because I'm a slut for good humor bars, but they have gluten, I'm pretty sure. So I'm like, I just don't even know if gluten actually does anything, but I've been too afraid to reintroduce gluten into my life because what if it does do something and I feel like death? My hair needs to be cut. Why is this hair really long? You guys ever have that where it just seems like, oh, this is a chunk. Chunks don't count. Like, a hair is just really long, and you're like, I don't think you were long before. Did you grow really fast? Maybe.